So hey there, Mike. We're gonna pretend that you are not my manager, but you are my manager's manager.
All right.
2 levels above me on the organizational chart.
All right. I'm a bigwig.
You're a bigwig,
Okay.
manager's manager, and I'm coming into your office to talk to you about
Okay.
something. All
All
right,
right.
let's try this.
Let's,
All
let's do
right.
it.
Hey there, Mike.
Hey, Ethan, how you doing? Nice seeing you.
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
You gonna eat that sandwich?
Um, I was going to, but if you know what, if you'd like half of it, I'm here. I'm totally okay with that.
I wouldn't mind, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyways, I guess I'll get to the point.
Yeah. What do you need?
So I wanted to come talk to you because so my direct manager, who you
Mm-hmm.
manage,
Mm-hmm.
uh, earlier this week, I asked them if I could get off a little bit early on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the reason why I want to get off early at Tuesday and Thursdays at about 3 p.m. is because my kid has basketball games.
Okay.
I just want to go there to support my kid. So I brought this. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal, but my manager basically said no. I could not leave work early to go see my
Oh,
kid.
okay.
And so
Julie.
I just wanted to bring that to you because I wanted to see if is that okay? Like can I please do that? Can I take work off a little bit early?
Okay. So Julie said no to that, huh?
Yeah.
So did she give reasons why she said no?
Um. I mean, not a whole lot of good reasons, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't really quite understand the rationale.
Okay. And I mean, do you have some time off saved up that you can use for that kind of thing?
Um, I guess I do have some time off, yeah, but I figured this was
Okay.
a couple hours early each, twice a week.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? Thanks for bringing that to me. You know what? I'm gonna let me. I can't fix this right now, but why don't I circle back with Julie, have a conversation, and I'll get back to you, and I'll check it out.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna ask for. Thanks for talking to Julie about it.
No problem.
All right. Great. Nice. I like where
Yeah.
this is going. Okay. Let's try it
Now,
again.
well, yeah. Let's do a different version. Same scenario.
Okay, same scenario. Okay.
Yep.
Hey, boss of my boss.
Keep your hands off my sandwich.
Okay, gotcha. You're in a different kind of mood today. Anyways, boss of boss, bossy boss. So anyways, I asked my manager Julie if I could get off early on Tuesdays and Thursdays to see my kids basketball game, and she said no, and just wanted to bring this to you.
Okay, and you're asking me to intervene somehow? Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, I think it's totally reasonable for me to be able to get off a couple hours early twice a week to see my kids game, and so yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to get involved with that. Julie runs the department. She runs it really well, and she is responsible for scheduling. You know, she has to maintain coverage at all times. This is really not in my lane to deal with. I'm going to decline and sorry.
I hate you.
You want a half a sandwich,
Yeah,
though? Would
I'll
that make you feel better?
all right, that sounds
Okay.
good. Yeah, I'll take
All
the
right.
sandwich. Great. All right. Well, hey, I guess by the way, everybody, welcome to the Managing with Mind and Heart podcast. Maybe you all are a bit intrigued about what the heck we were doing here. Mike, break this down for us. What did we just do here? What just happened?
Well, let me break it down by asking you, Ethan. Change roles here. Let's say you're Julie, right?
Julie.
You don't know about these conversations, but you're Julie. If you had to choose,
Uh-huh.
which of those responses would you prefer that your boss gave to the employee?
So I'm the manager of this employee that came to you, and
Right.
you are my boss. So
Yes.
they skipped the level to come to you.
Right.
And what would I prefer that you would have done in that situation?
Right.
I would have preferred the second response that you gave.
Mhm.
I would have preferred that you probably didn't try to solve the problem because hopefully you had some trust and faith in me that I analyzed the situation and made the best decision I could.
That's exactly what I was thinking you were gonna say, and in my experience with managers, I'll tell you what, over and over again, I've heard this for the last 30 years. I've heard the mid-level manager say something along the lines of, "I don't even know why I bother to manage. People
Mm,
can just go over my head and get what they want, or they can go over my head and then I have a talking to, or they don't I'm not trusted. My manager doesn't trust me, and all people have to do is go talk to them, and suddenly I'm the one that has to have a conversation." And it's this idea where it's this feeling of having your legs kicked out from under you by
mm.
your boss that we're wanting to talk about today. And so what we're talking about today is the difference between an open door policy and what we call the half open door policy.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm excited to dig into this a little bit. And so basically, if you manage people who manage people, our hope is that you're going to walk away from this episode with just a better understanding for how you can both stay appropriately available um, without
Mhm.
undermining the managers that work for you, that report to
Right.
you.
Right.
This can be I mean, this is a major organizational health concept. And I
Yes.
actually think it's one of the most overlooked. I think without clear boundaries around what I will and won't discuss with your manager's direct reports, you end up unintentionally kind of creating a cascade of trust issues that starts to erode trust, obviously,
Yep.
and
Yep.
erode morale. And so today we're
That's
talking
exact.
about, as you said, as you alluded to, we're talking about doors. So first off, let's talk about the type of door that most people have heard in organizations, which is the open door. What is an open door policy?
Well, it has nothing literally to do with doors. Side note on that, like almost 30 years ago, I worked with one of my first organizations. They had an open door policy that was mandated from above, and they literally mandated managers to not ever close their door. That the literal open door was the point, which
Mhm,
was a mess, and it was it was horrible, and you couldn't have private conversations, and you couldn't close your door and get some privacy, etc. So we're not talking about doors, right?
mhm,
We're talking about couple things. We're talking about the two A's, availability plus approachability. So let's start with the open door policy, right?
mhm,
Meaning that you can find me, you can get to me, and I don't mean 24/7, but in general, I'm around enough or I'm reachable. Availability and approachability. I'm not scary, right? There's some psychological safety there. You can come to me. And so open door policy is that plus what we call the open ear policy. Come talk to me about anything you want to talk to me about.
Did you say the open ear policy?
Open ear policy. Come talk to me, right? You can, as a manager, we have another episode that talks about the 5 responses that we have as managers
Uh-huh.
when employees bring stuff to us. Um, I should be able to navigate those. As an employee, you get to come to me for anything. And so if you're the level above me on the org chart, you have an open door policy for me.
Right. Meaning, if you are my direct report, I have an open door policy with you.
Exactly.
If you need something, you're free to come to me. Right?
If you have
There's
a
not
concern, yep.
right. Okay, so that's our basic open door policy. And so then we're also talking here a bit about kind of this skip level conversations that are happening, right? These uh, my direct report going to my manager to have conversations. So where does s- the start and end of these doors happen with this?
A quick little life hack on the open door policy first. If you can't remember the last time you talked about your open door policy with your direct reports, let them know. State your intention.
Mhm.
Remind people. I think it's a really great message for people to literally remind their employees that they can come to you with anything. So,
Love it.
but yeah, half open door policy. It's the next level up. That's a half open door policy. The idea is if leaders don't discriminate between the conversations that they should be having and the ones they shouldn't, they
Mhm.
create confusion and they can kick the legs out from under the managers that work for them. So it's on the shoulders of the second level up, the skip
Mm.
level manager, to navigate this half open door policy and make decisions about should I be having this conversation or should I not? That's a half open door policy.
Okay, gotcha. So, just so we're tracking here, I'm a manager and I have an open door policy with my employees.
Hmm.
That's availability and approachability.
Hmm.
With the direct reports of my direct reports,
Hmm.
I have a half open door policy with them.
Hmm.
And so then what is the half open door like what does that mean? What does it not mean?
It basically means that there will be some conversations that I'm going to be absolutely open to have, and there's others
Okay.
I won't. That's all that means. And it really is going to be a matter of discernment, which we'll talk about here in a minute about how we differentiate. But the reason this is so important is, well, I think the way you said it was really good. If managers two levels up don't discriminate between these conversations, it really does create trust issues and confusion, and it disempowers the managers below them.
Mhm.
And what makes this so difficult is there's this kind of knee jerk, it's this desire to be approachable and to,
Mm.
somehow somebody's told us at one point in a misguided way that everybody should have all leaders should have an open door policy for everybody in the organization. And
Yeah.
if I don't do that, somehow I'm doing something wrong. And that's why we go down the wrong path sometimes.
Right. Right. Okay. Gotcha. So let's then get more specific with
Sure.
this idea of the half open door policy. So what conversations are okay for me to have or are not okay for me to have with the reports of my direct reports?
Yeah, let's talk about let's talk about some stuff I want to maybe avoid. Like maybe I need to find a way to extricate myself from those conversations. Let's say you're my boss, Ethan, and I'm not happy with you about something. Some way
Okay.
you're managing me, whatever, and I go over your head. So, hey, I'm now talking to your boss
Mhm.
about you. What would be at least one of the questions you would hope my boss would ask me?
Did you talk to your manager about this?
Yeah. Tell me some yeah, tell me about what you've already done. Have you had some conversation about this? I'm complaining about your management. I'm complaining about the way you treat me. I'm complaining about something.
Mm.
Unless what I'm bringing to that person above you is heinous and horrible and illegal and some terrible thing, um, I would hope that that boss would coach me, direct me back, try to get me to talk to you first. So that's just one example of how I might navigate that half open door policy.
Okay. Okay.
Now, here's another one. I just don't like a decision you've made.
Mm.
You have said no to me. Like the example that we just role played earlier. You didn't give me the Tuesdays and Thursdays afternoons off that I'd asked for. Now I'm going over your head. Let's assume that the boss trusts the manager. Let's assume that the person that you report up to in general thinks you're doing a good job, right?
Mhm.
That manager has to be really careful. Your boss has to be really careful not to create a path where
Mm.
I can just go above you whenever I want and get something in return. And that includes, they have to be really careful not to say things like, and these are real situations. Well, why don't you just go back and keep trying? Why
Mm.
don't you just go ask her 3 more times? Why don't you
Yeah.
why don't you make a business case for it? Why don't Now we have this person up there who's chosen to be the advocate
Right.
for this employee.
They've clearly taken sides here. Like I'm on your side. Here's how I'm going to coach you through this, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The bottom line message, however it gets verbalized, is some version. What we're looking for here is this is your manager's job.
Mhm.
I trust your manager to do this job. This is something that I'm not going to jump in on. I'm not going to get involved in. So it's really hard to say that. It's
Mm.
awkward. It feels like you're doing something wrong because you're not open door policy for everything, right? It also feels bad because I'm not troubleshooting. I'm not problem
Mhm.
solving. Problem solving becomes the problem when you're the second level up there and you dig in and start problem solving. That's not your job.
Okay. Gotcha. So, okay, so then getting practical with this, like sharpen this up for me. what
Yep.
conversation should we be having and should we not be having as a skip level manager here?
Okay. The not conversations would be when I'm being, let's say I'm the second level up now, I'm the top dog there. I should not be having conversations where I'm troubleshooting the employee's issues or problems. I should not be managing the employee. I should not be kind of intervening between the manager and the boss if the employee's not getting what they want.
Mm,
I should not be um, immediately taking a concern that's not a big deal, but it's a little bit more of a minor deal about the manager themselves. If the employee hasn't already had some conversation with them,
mm,
try to give some feedback themselves. Yeah, the bottom line here is I'm not managing.
yeah.
I'm not managing that situation. Now, on the other hand, um, the employee brings something to me, and it is quite possible that the manager really did something wrong, like something that I can't let go. I can't let the employee just deal with this. So
Mm,
the employee comes to me and says, "My manager, I asked for some. Let's go back to time off. I asked for some time off. It's because my partner is in the hospital. They need some help in the mornings.
mm,
There's this thing going on that now gets into actual HR legal type issues. It might get into, family leave issues. And so I'm thinking to myself, the boss said no. That doesn't seem right. There's
mm,
something wrong here. There's a policy that's being broken. If that's what I'm assessing through this conversation, and I don't know for sure, I haven't had the conversations yet, but at the very least, what I'm going to say to the employee is, hey,
mm.
let me look into that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say bad things about the manager. I'm not gonna say, "They what?" I'm not gonna
Right.
make him. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus. I'm just
And you're
gonna,
not gonna
you know
you're
what?
not gonna right in the moment be like, okay,
No.
I'll resolve this. I'll make sure this
Yes,
is taken care of. It's I am going to. You're essentially saying I'll take some ownership over this. I'm going to look into it.
that's exactly right. Yep.
Okay.
And so the difference there, if you wanna break that difference down simply, my assessment of, the manager's decision
Hmm.
either was, their decision was appropriate, and I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt as the manager who's supposed to be managing this, or I'm alarmed because something seems off
Right. Yeah.
about that manager's decision.
And this is really a fine line here because
Yes.
there's a difference between, gosh, I wouldn't have made that decision that the manager made versus I see this as an inappropriate decision to make. Right?
Yes.
There's a difference there. Like for example,
Yes.
coming back to the example, hey, they wouldn't let me out early to go see my kid's game. I might think to myself, gosh, you know what?
Wouldn't
I
that
don't
be
necessarily
nice?
like that
Yeah.
decision. I probably would have just let that happen as an
Mhm.
exception. But you know what? Just because I don't necessarily like the decision doesn't mean it was a bad decision or I have all
Right.
the facts or I have all the information.
Right. That's
But
exactly right.
right. But then in your other example, I have a sick family member or partner or whatever it is. I might be saying, okay, well, this is I gotta look into this. This is a
Something got
potential
missed.
like equity issue in an organization or a legal issue.
Right.
Right. There. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think this is where it gets nuancy. In that first example, I might not love the decision, but it's fine, and I trust the manager. I'm going to support the manager. I got to even there be careful not to say something like, "Well, let me go look into it."
Hmm.
That's not the answer. That's kind of like you took it on, right? And you're going to go in there and figure this out. Now, it doesn't mean, side note here, you're not going to on your own go have a conversation with that manager. Sure, you might go ahead and circle back and just check
Hmm.
in and let them know that, hey, this person came to me. I just want to make sure that I said the right thing in supporting you. Is there anything I'm missing here? Great.
I
But the
see.
employee is not going to be hearing from you. Hey,
Hmm.
thanks for bringing that to me. I'm going to go, you know,
Okay.
mediate for you.
In other words, I still might go check in with my direct report about this, but I'm not
Mhm.
communicating to that person
Right.
I'm doing anything about it. I'm
Right.
communicating that's your manager's decisions. I'm not your manager. They have the
Yes.
authority to make those decisions. And I
Yes.
still might go check in just to be like, hey, it seems a little bit funky here. I just wanted to check in, kind of making
Yep.
sure all's good here. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Now, what happens in the workshops, this is really interesting. We will have this discussion
Mm.
with the class, and I will actually ask everyone to put themselves in the position of the middle manager. And they will almost 100% of them will say, yeah, I want my manager above me to support me in those kind of situations. We don't want our legs kicked out from under us. They all say the same thing. And they all have, or many of them have stories of times where they have felt completely disempowered and not trusted by their managers. And then we put them into a small group and give them a scenario where they are the top manager. They're the
Mm.
person that the employee is going to, and we give them one of those situations. And I would say at least half of them default right back to responses that they themselves would not have wanted their manager to give. And because it's just this feeling of I'm supposed if I'm a manager, meaning, an executive level person or, 2 levels up,
Mhm.
if it comes to me, I'm doing something wrong if I don't troubleshoot it or problem solve it or get involved. And so it's really
Yeah.
hard to kind of keep this concept in mind when you're the person that's 2 levels up.
I also think that the discernment of some of this can be tricky. I could also see, like, I'm having to discern if this really sounds like an inappropriate decision or action by this manager, versus something I wouldn't prefer, right?
Right.
I can
Right.
see the case for if you're with it, if you have doubt, default to the manager is going to, not my responsibility. This is your manager's responsibility, and then go check on it kind of behind the scenes, if in doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That means you can still lean towards supporting the manager in the moment
Hmm.
with the employee and then go have a conversation and double check to make sure that things are good.
Okay.
I'll give you another example. So I'm skipping levels now. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking about the manager that you supervise. Um, they start meetings late. It's really frustrating for me. We have our monthly or our weekly meetings, and we're supposed to be there at 9, and he starts at 10 after, sometimes 15 after. It drives me crazy. Everyone's
Hmm.
talking, chatting, wasting time.
Hmm.
I'm frustrated, Ethan.
Okay.
What are you gonna do about it?
I mean, my best advice to you is probably to get over it. No, just I probably wouldn't say that. That's an interesting one. I would default to, hey, that's something that you and your manager need to resolve if that's an issue, right? I would default to that. I wouldn't say anything like I will say, I will think about that or I'll look into
Mhm,
it. But in that case, I might then go talk to that manager and say, hey, this employee brought this concern to me. I said it wasn't my responsibility to deal with, but I did want to check in with you on just kind of
mhm,
our common commitments that we have about starting our meetings on time and stuff.
mhm.
So kind of deal
Yeah.
with it directly with
Yeah,
them.
I like that. I would, and you might also, that might be one of those interesting situations where you could encourage me, at least ask me, well, have you mentioned this concern to your boss?
Hmm.
Because that's healthy, right? I mean, you could be supporting a really healthy work environment when an employee is able to say something about that. Hey, boss, I'm frustrated that you're running meetings late, starting meetings late.
Mm,
And so that would be a really good way to encourage me to go back there and have that conversation. And then, like you said, it would be a good opportunity for you possibly to check in and
I see.
do some coaching, yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. Do you have any other maybe examples of problems or situations that would come to a manager's manager, uh, that we can think about here?
How about, so I'm coming to you, Ethan, and again, you're my boss's boss, and, um, my manager, Charlie, I was really embarrassed yesterday in the meeting. I was sharing my ideas, and he literally called me an idiot
Hmm.
right there in front of everybody,
Okay.
and I was super embarrassed, and I stopped talking, and, um, I'm really mad, actually.
Hmm. Okay. So if you bring that to me, I would start with some questions, and my first question would be, well, were you acting like an idiot?
Are you an idiot?
Are you an idiot? Okay, let's
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's right, Ethan. Good.
No, just kidding,
Good.
folks. We can joke.
Good.
We can joke. We don't have to be so serious all the time. All right. So at this point, like this is in workplace HR language terms. This is we're talking about workplace harassment type language. I don't know if that's too strong to put it that way, but yeah, calling someone an idiot. So I would say that isn't a like, I would have used different language in that meeting, but that's this manager's preference. This is okay, that is an inappropriate response. So in which case it would be something along the lines of thanks for bringing this to me, right? So I'm acknowledging that and probably asking a few questions to
Mhm.
understand the scenario,
Yeah.
right?
Yep,
I'm
yep,
immediately jumping into I'll take care of this, but
yep,
what was the context? What was going on?
yep,
You know,
yep.
understanding that, and then go to, I will look into this and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, or somebody will get back to you, right.
Somebody
Yeah,
will get back to you because it might
yeah,
be, yeah, somebody will get back to you. That's a very
yep.
important piece
Yeah,
to
it
add.
might be the manager, I
Yeah.
hope, yeah. Yes,
Ideally, it's the manager getting back.
yes. Yeah, and so, if you ask me questions and the context, he called me an idiot and I give you more of the details. Well, I said I really like the Seahawks, and he said, "Well, you're an idiot because
Hmm.
they're not very." Well, I mean, I might have a little bit of a different response than I was sharing my idea, and he called me an idiot. So you're right. Asking some questions, getting some context, and your concern level is there now, right? Because this is potentially a really inappropriate situation, and in reality I cannot be okay with a manager who would ever talk to an employee that way. That
Mhm.
that is so not okay. And so I have to take that on and go have a conversation. But I really like the way you said, you didn't badmouth the manager. You didn't say, "Oh my God, he said that." You don't know the whole story. So thanks for bringing that to me. I'm going to look into that. Someone will get back to you. And now you go have that really important conversation. And we hope it resolves. If that's what happened,
Yeah.
you hope it resolves in that manager going back and making that right
Gotcha.
and never doing it again. Ever doing it again.
Right. Hey, everybody. Quick interruption here. I have two things for you. I have an announcement and I have an ask. First, for the announcement, I wanted to let you know that registration is now open for our signature leadership development workshop series. This is Managing with Mind and Heart. It's the online experience. And if you register, you will be joining thousands of other leaders who have participated in this workshop series. We're talking a skill-focused, practical, human-centered management training, and you'll be participating in it in a cross-industry cohort of other leaders. We would also like to give you, our dear listeners, a gift. So if you'd like to register for this, use the discount code MINDANDHEARTPOD, all spelled out. MINDANDHEARTPOD for 20% off this workshop series. Additionally, just a quick ask, if you appreciate this show, if you get value out of this show and you'd like to support us, the best way you can do so is by subscribing and leaving us a review. This helps other people find the show. All right, that's it. Thank you. All right. Well, again, this with any of these tools, it takes discernment, but I think there's a
Mhm.
pretty clear line that I'm seeing here, which is if it is something that is actually inappropriate, or this is not our culture or how we lead here, that would be something that I would acknowledge I will look into and someone will get back to you. I'm not bad mouthing that manager. I'm not saying a bunch of other things. All right. Versus question or concerns that are just not I don't know the best way to put it. Like they're just things that person might not like or I might not even prefer, but
But
it's
they're
not
judgment calls.
inappropriate. They're
They're
judgment
judgment
calls.
calls that that person gets to make, that the
Yeah.
manager should get to make, right?
And that doesn't mean that you don't then go ask the manager about that a little bit if it does bring up a little bit of a red flag and you just want to check
Mhm.
in.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Anything more you want to add here to this idea?
No, it's I mean, we could talk for hours because there's so many nuances and so many different situations. But the general idea, which I think is kind of the big learning from this piece here for a lot of managers, is that there really is a half open door policy if you're the second level up or even higher than that. You really actually have to discern whether you should be entertaining those conversations or not. And if you don't do that, you end up inadvertently siding with or advocating for an employee and really demoralizing that manager, which you can't afford. You can't afford your managers to give up and feel like, well, why do I even manage if my manager is going to do it for me?
Heard. All right.
Good.
I think that's great. Well, how about we leave it there for today?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in, and catch you next time.